Today's podcast is brought to you by our friends over at Smart to Play, modern endpoint managed solutions for the modern hybrid workplace. Head on over to smarttoplay.com/FRD. We're hanging around because Paul's drinking out of a mug from 1912.
It's better for the environment that I save it than I throw it away.
Yes. I mean, at this point, the plastic is probably leaching into your bloodstream, but...
It's like you ever get like coffee like from some, it has like it's not even styrofoam, it's some weird combination of paper with like a grippy outside surface, and you know it's just sitting there melting as you drink it. Well, you don't drink coffee, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like you've seen this thing, this terrible cups. So it's got to be healthier than that.
All I'm saying, Paul, and nobody please email me, please, is that when we were all using plastic straws, we didn't have COVID. That's all I'm saying. Paper. I cannot stand paper.
I can't refute this.
I cannot stand paper straws.
I think it's nice sucking on a paper straw about 5 minutes in when all you're sucking on is the straw.
Yeah.
It's kind of collapsed on itself like the building in Florida.
Yeah. Why does this taste like history homework? Like, what's...
What?
Yep.
Oh. Are there bigger problems? I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, there are bigger problems because Paul is committing a crime that he was telling me about right
I can't wait. So... As maybe some of you have seen, the Walking Cat provided a shot, and you can go see it for yourself. The Windows subsystem for Android is available now in the Microsoft Store. And as I said to Brad, the description reads, Microsoft Confidential. For testing purposes, please do not take screenshots or communicate about the content. And I am going to do both of those things as soon as this show is over.
Just living on the edge.
Because seriously, when you run this thing, nothing happens. It's like a blank window. But anyway, obviously with Windows 11 moving to the dev channel yesterday, which I guess I should have introduced as a topic, not as an aside, not moving to the next version of Windows 11, or maybe it's future updates to Windows 11, right? We don't know really how they're going to deliver this stuff. But anyway,
it's coming through the store.
It is coming through the store. Now I'm running Windows 11, so I don't know what happens if you click on that link in Windows 10.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is a web link, but it opens into the store.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I suspect it is for the new dev channel builds that have started arriving, post 1.0, as we'll call it.
Yeah, which, by the way, dear listeners, if you're in the beta, dev, why don't they call it alpha beta? If you're in the dev channel, that build is really buggy. There's a ton of reports online of the shell crashing, and you just can't launch apps. So just...
Oh, good, because that's what I'm using right now. So neat.
Yeah, just be aware.
Actually, they've already released a fix, I think. One of the problems is with the taskbar.
Maybe
that's the thing you're talking about. Apparently, there's a fix out for that, so maybe I should look for that.
Maybe that's
too much further into this. Living on the edge, it's not always stable.
That's why they call it the edge and not just like the plateau or the Great Plains.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't know. Maybe it's a manual download. I'll look into this.
Yeah, but that's a thing to keep in mind. There's also the commercial previews are officially out if you want to commercially preview things that you could have done anyways.
I think the important note there, and because Microsoft no longer uses terms like release candidate or RTM or whatever, we have to kind of look at what they're doing and guess, in some ways, educated guess where we're at. And when Microsoft makes a version of Windows 10 in the past, and now it's a version of Windows 10 and the first version of Windows 11 available for commercial preview, it's still technically a pre-release build, but this is sort of like RC. This is sort of like what we used to call the release candidate. Microsoft will support organizations that want to use this version and newer. So it's it's closing in on what.
Oh, look. Hi, Teams. Just about 9 minutes late.
Actually, you know what? It's getting better, dude, because that was only 5 minutes ago, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 6 minutes. Not bad.
Yeah, it's down from the 18 that it was before.
I'm pretty sure we had communications technology on the battlefield in World War II that was more sophisticated than this. But, whatever.
It was probably coming from that mug you were drinking.
Yes, actually, this might have been repurposed from a World War II field phone, for all I know. Yeah.
So we've got that. We've also got this message from our friends over at Smart Deploy, because Smart Deploy allows IT departments to re-image unlimited computer models from one golden image. Search their library for your models and grab your free subscription at smartdeploy.com/FRD. Yeah. I'm supposed to respond to that.
I'm still just reading this description and laughing. This has to be. This must be like when it was internal only or something.
Yeah, it was probably they distribute stuff through the store to their own employees, and that link isn't supposed to be exposed. And the Walking Cat did what Walking Cat does, found the link that's not supposed to be exposed, shared it with the world, and now Microsoft's just...
It works. It says I'm good to go, too. This product works on my device. I don't like that term, but that's okay. Actually, here's something interesting, by the way. Okay. It says OS, Windows 10 version 22,000.0 or higher. That's Windows 11.
Yes.
It also says, I guess they're just missing commas. Architecture, x64, ARM64. So I guess it would just be native on both.
Yeah.
Recommend 16 gigabytes of RAM. Do we know that? I don't know if
we did.
8 gigs minimum. And the minimum for Windows 11 is
4.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So there's some news here. I can't write it.
No. Can't write about it.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot write about it.
I'm writing about it.
Well, you write about it. You do you. It is Friday after all, right?
Thank God. Big day today, Brad. This is the Allentown, I think it's the Great Allentown Fair is what they call it. It's essentially like a state fair type of thing. This is where you get like fried dough and look at pigs that won an award, and you go on a Ferris wheel that's controlled by teenagers and totally won't topple over into the parking lot it's sitting in. And, we didn't have one of these last year, right? So I'm sure it's going to be like a super spreader event, but I'm totally going to this because there's only one reason to live in this part of the world, and it's stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. County fairs are a big deal, or city fairs, whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing this weekend. It is an extended weekend, by the way, which we should.
Oh, so we should probably, and actually we should speak a little bit about next week. Are you going to be away?
Yeah, so there's no podcast next week because I will be onboarding through new role and figuring out what new life is, and not going to try to shoehorn a podcast.
Are you traveling? Or are you actually going to go?
Yeah, no, I'm actually traveling up there. I mean, it's not that far.
Michigan? Michigan, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so like it'll be, I think, 4 hours door to door, including charging time and stopping and everything else. So it's not like right next door, but it's not.
A beautiful weekend. It's going to be kind of a nice time to drive, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about that.
And you're going alone, not with the wife and kid?
Paul, I've been stuck with them for...
I
mean, no, of course they're not coming, Paul. My wife works, my kid's in school.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, I'm not questioning it. I'm just...
Sure. If only there was any way we could take our confines and make them smaller and put us in a location where we know even less people and things to do. That would just be...
We're going to Boston toward the end of the month, and I said to my wife, like, you kind of walk around what you're really asking. You're like, so you're probably going to want to stay with your parents for a couple of days while we're there, huh? And then she said, no, my parents are away that weekend. I'm like, oh, I see.
Do you want to go smell their house, make sure nothing changed?
Yeah, maybe you should check in just to make sure.
Make sure there's no plumbing leaks, something along those lines. But, yeah. Well, Paul, while you're in Boston, thinking about Boston, I should say, if you need to think about your IT solutions, you should check out our friends over at Smart Deploy, a flexible IT solution for the modern workplace. Claim your free software at smartdeploy.com/FRD for an offer for people listening to this podcast. And we will be back in about a week, something around there like that. Probably about when the Skype or team messages show up.